when you're making decisions in your programs, oftentimes you're going to use the if statement. It's one of the most common statements that you'll use as a programmer. And I'm going to demonstrate how to use the if statement in C# using ASP.NET, and specifically this web page that I've prepared. I have 4 controls on the page. We have a label that's named label result. We have another label here that's named label 1. We have a text box that's named text box 1, and we have our button, which is named button 1. The way it's going to work is the user will type something in the text box, and when you press the test button, it's going to evaluate the text that's in the label to the text that's in this text box. So to get to the event handler for the button click event, I'm going to go ahead and double click it. It'll take me to the code behind page, and I can now code in the button 1 click event handler. So I'm going to type the word if, and when I type the word if, I'm going to immediately follow that with parentheses, an open parent, and I can type the statement that I want to have the computer evaluate, have the program evaluate rather. We want to test the label 1 text. If the label 1 text is equal to text box 1 text, if it's true, it's going to perform the statement that's going to be written here, which we want to change the label result text to equal they are the same. Now we could leave it like this, but it would be confusing for the user, because think what would happen if the if statement was false. It would still remain has not been evaluated. That text would not change. I would click the test button. If it's not true, it's still going to stay with the words has not been evaluated. So what we want to do is we want to add something that will run if the if statement is false. So we're going to use an else clause. It's not required with an if statement, but we're going to put it in this case because it's going to leave no doubt that something happened once that button was clicked. So we could change the text of the label result label to they are not the same. So I'm going to save that. So just to test to make sure it's going to work, we can go ahead and debug that. And that's going to launch my web browser, and we should see those 4 controls up on the form. Not the prettiest looking web page, but we can now come to the text box and we will have it pass the first time. Type the word hello and we can test it, and our label verifies that they are the same, and we can put something else in there. We'll put 5 in there and we'll test that, and it says they are not the same. So everything worked as expected. I could stop debugging. And that is how the if statement works. Just to review, the if statement, you type the keyword if, and then what we want to test in parentheses, and then we can put what we want to have happen if it's true. If the statement isn't true, it's not even going to look at this. It's just going to come down and see if there's an else clause, and it will do what's inside the else clause if the original statement is not true. Now, there's other ways we can evaluate. We can evaluate, in this case we did if it is equal. We could actually say if it's not equal. If we were using numbers, we could use other greater than, less than, equal to, or greater than or equal to. There's many other ways we can test, but the if statement itself pretty much works this way regardless of what you're evaluating. Hope that helps, and we'll talk to you next time.